My friends, this is day 721 of the 3-day Russian invasion of Ukraine, and the generals keep repeating their mantra that Ukraine is losing. So today I would like to address some of those claims to show how bad Ukraine is losing in reality. A big Russian troop-carrying ship says that Kunnikov... Why do you hate me so much so I have to speak out this nonsense? Kunnikov, mamma mia, I bet this ship went down because of embarrassment. Perfect branding, Russian style. Says that Kunnikov was hit yesterday by the Ukrainian Military Intelligence Service, and Group 13, responsible for sinking the terror Russian vessel, used several naval drones to expand the list of the sunken Russian ships, which now includes 22 vessels and 1 submarine. And as we all remember, this list is topped by the flagship of the Russian Black Sea Fleet, the battle cruiser Moskva. Ukraine is losing so much so it doesn't even have its own fleet, but it doesn't matter, because soon the Russian invaders will also have none remaining in the Black Sea. Russia has lost more than 6,000 tanks according to the General Staff of Ukraine, or more than 3,000 tanks according to the open source intelligence Reuters report. It's a big loss for Ukraine, which utilizes more than 500 tanks captured from the Russian invaders over the course of 2 years. The Russian Ministry of Defense, also known as the Ministry of Stolen Toilets, went absolutely insane, reporting tens of thousands destroyed Ukrainian tanks, millions of eliminated Ukrainian defenders, predicting Ukraine's tomorrow's collapse since March 2022, but still struggling to take Avdiivka since 2014. And speaking of Avdiivka, based on the open source intel, our friends prepared the infographics so you could understand the real situation in this area since October 2023. Ukraine is losing so bad because Russian invaders believe that their great motherland has a never-ending source of man. Well, Ukraine can impress you swallowing 1, 5, 10 million Russian invaders if needed, considering that a 200,000-man army used for attacking Ukraine 2 years ago, consisting of professional Russian soldiers, doesn't exist anymore. What exists is obese Ukrainian stray dogs and fat Ukrainian ravens in Avdiivka that can barely fly. And speaking of animals, make sure you're subscribed to the U-Hearts, a Lithuanian-Ukrainian foundation that helps the Ukrainian pets. Thumbs up to those guys. Ukraine loses so bad so servers and data storage systems began to massively malfunction in the Russian Federation, according to the Russian sources. The demand for the foreign hard drives, controllers, motherboards and other components in the terrorist federation increased 5 times comparing to 2022, because as we all know, the terrorist federation is so powerful and sanctions don't work. Any Russian schoolboy, in fact, can build a hard drive using only a hammer and a sickle. What an incredible nation they are. Ukraine loses so bad so the Russian civil aviation lost almost half of its airplanes. According to the aviation expert from the legendary Ukrainian company Antonov, since 2022, out of 1,100 airplanes used by the terrorist federation, and we're talking about roughly 800 Boeing and Airbus aircraft plus Embraer, some other foreign airplanes, and approximately 250 Russian-made flying potatoes, only 600 airplanes keep flying nowadays. The rest were cannibalized for spare parts or simply failed because of lack of proper maintenance. As you know, Boeing and Airbus require trained professionals to provide maintenance for their aircraft around the world. But the terrorist federation is mighty and powerful, Ukraine is losing, and sanctions don't work. But generally speaking, they don't need to fly anyways, because nobody wants to see Russian tourists, that might include some of the terrorists, Wagnerites and other criminals who participated in the invasion of Ukraine. Not sure you guys would like to see them like walking around chilling in your hometown. And speaking of the Russian terrorists, these miserable Russian men who were obliterated near Novomykhailivka addressed Putin and other authorities in their new amazing video.
Мы, как видите, готовы встретить свое любимое командование, которое нелюбимое, как мы их готовы встретить, которые погубили всех наших ребят, пацанов.
Да, и так как вчера были отправлены 3 штурмовые группы, из них добралось только 3 человека и не было оказано никакого прикрытия.
3 Russian men remained alive after 3 groups were sent into a Russo grinder. How do you like that? Well, personally, I feel sorry for those idiots who still don't realize that Russia is not a democracy, and those videos make absolutely no sense. They won't change anything. The Russian boys will be unfortunately eliminated, and the only memory that will remain after them will be such videos where they cry about being sent to die for nothing in a foreign country. And to end this report on a positive note, I'd like to share a Russian video where amazing Russian inventors did a field testing of a new orthodox flying machine. Of course, everything went as planned because, you know, the god apparently cursed us with the Russian terrorism, especially the neighboring countries, but at the same time he blessed us, making our enemy and their supporters completely dumb and ridiculous. My friends, with that I wish you all a beautiful day. Big shout out to my Instagram friends Chris, Dragos, Margot, Philip, Boise, Dan, William, Andrian, Giovanni and Danny. Thank you so much for motivating me this morning. I'm operator Starsky. As always, be safe.